What's up, everybody? I'm Simon Sabro, and today I got for y'all my July manga reading log. So before we jump into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SimonSabroYT. Link will always be down in the description. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss an upload, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to check out my YouTube membership and Patreon if you're interested. And be sure to comment down what manga you've been reading for the month of July. So with all that out the way, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so as usual, we're going to start out with the physical manga and then go into the digital manga. If I remember, I'll be sure to leave a timestamp kind of separating both of them. But the first thing I did read this month was Call of the Night Volume 8. Now, truth be told, I read this a pretty good time ago and I don't remember it really happened in it, honestly. But I do know off the top of my head that I really did enjoy this manga, especially this character right here and the character that was introduced a lot later on in the manga when it was talking about Nazuna's backstory. And I know the Call of the Night anime did air pretty recently, so I haven't checked it out myself, but if you've been watching it, definitely comment down how it's been going because I am really interested. I've heard the opening and it sounds really good, so I hope it does also look just as good. But I once again also really hope it does this manga some justice because the manga is really amazing and I think just about anybody can really enjoy it and get into it without any problem. The art, as usual, is amazing in this. The character design's amazing. I feel like I say the same thing about this every time, and I'm glad that it continues to hold true regarding the art. Now, the next one, I'm gonna have to put pictures on screen. It is a physical manga, but I read it digitally, and that is Astra Lost in Space. And this manga, honestly, was a lot better than I thought it would be. It is about, I think, 50 or so chapters, and it is really good. So it's about these group of high schoolers, I wanna say, that go on a trip to space. That's just really how it starts out. And when they go up there, they land on the planet and comes to find out, basically get sent in the middle of space. That's kind of what happens. And they luckily manage to find a ship and they board the ship, and now they're trying to get back to planet Earth. And it is really interesting because what happens later is there's some drama and they find out that they were trying to be assassinated, or well, someone's trying to assassinate them. And they're looking at the crewmates who are with, or really their classmates who are with them, trying to figure out who's the assassin. And from there, it just gets really interesting. There's lots of suspense, lots of world building, because they travel to a bunch of different planets, trying to just, like I said, make their way back home. And it is honestly really interesting, especially the ending. I really enjoyed Astra Lost in Space, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody. It is 5 volumes. I would collect it, but I don't think I'm really going to collect it, but it is really good. All right, so after that, I did read Raw Hero Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Volume 6, which is basically everything that's out for it. And the series is complete. I did pick up Volume 6 a very long time ago, but I've kind of just wanted to reread everything just to, you know, refresh myself on it. And for one, let's start out. This manga is not for everybody. It is very... If you've ever seen Prison School or almost any ecchi anime or manga, it's very similar with lots of comedic elements. It is very funny. And the characters are actually really interesting despite it, you know, not really seeming like it would be. But it is about our main character, Chiaki, and he's trying to put food on the table for them and, you know, just make living comfortable for them because he's their main provider. So this is Chiaki right here. This is his 2 brothers. And like I said, he's just trying to make money for, you know, them to survive. But Chiaki's having a hard time finding a job. And due to a bunch of really weird circumstances, he manages to get himself a job. So basically, he gets hired as a hero and he spies on villains. Like, he infiltrates the villains' kind of ranks and basically reports back to the heroes on what it is. And it is really comedic, so to say. And that was probably my favorite part of it. It is really funny because it does this very serious kind of humor where the characters in the actual story are taking it way too serious, and because of how serious they're taking it, it's way funnier. It's really interesting, and honestly, it's like I said, the characters are actually really good, and Hiromoto's art is also really, really good. And like I said, definitely not for everybody. If you're into, this type of manga, definitely check it out. I think you'd really enjoy it. The ending, I wasn't too much a fan of, but it is what it is. Okay, so after that, we do have one more Edgy series. I promise this is the last one for this reading log, and that is Volume 2, Volume 3, and Volume 4 of Sundown Milky Way. And this is honestly, it's really funny once again, but not funny in the same way that Raw Hero was. This is funny because of just the characters are just goofy. And I'm not really sure on how much I'd be able to show here, but it is, like I said, just very, very funny. The art is really silly. Just the character expressions is just silly. But honestly, it's really funny and could at times actually be very wholesome. The main character is really thirsty, for lack of a better word, and it's very apparent throughout the whole manga. And I'm really having a hard time just looking for a page I could show, honestly. But it is, like I said, just really funny, really humorous. Other than that, not too much going on. It is interesting to see. So basically, the main character is, like I said, really, really thirsty, and an alien gets sent from another planet to repopulate with him because the planet she's from is dying. But when she's on Earth, she's in a more human-like form, and whenever she gets embarrassed, she transforms into her alien form. If I can find a picture of it, I'll definitely show it to you. But what the dynamic is that when she transforms back into her alien form, she can't do with the main character. So it creates a dynamic of her trying to get used to the main character in a way where she won't transform when they're, gonna do it. So that's basically what it's about. But the main character, like I said, just wants to do it with whoever. It doesn't matter to him. Here's what her alien form looks like right here. But so what happens now is that he then meets a girl and they start going out, and he just wants to do it with her. But basically, if he does it with his girlfriend now, then the alien would have to go home because her mission fails. And it is actually really interesting, just the dynamic of it, especially as more characters get introduced. Like this character here also makes it way more interesting. And if you'd like Raw Hero, you would definitely like this. But that's, like I said, all for the ecchi manga. All right, so to kind of make up for that, now we do have something significantly better, which is Happiness. I did read all of Happiness volumes 1 through 10. I'm not gonna show all 10 volumes, just the first 3, because I really do love the covers on these. But I did read all of Happiness. At first I had read the first 4 volumes and then put it down for a while so I could collect the rest of the series, and then now I finally took the time to actually go through it. Now, the beginning is very similar to Tokyo Ghoul, whereas the main character basically gets introduced into a world that they're unfamiliar with. Not like an isekai. I should word that a little better, but basically there's vampires in the world and the main character is just living his life like normal, really nothing special. And what happens is that he gets bit by a vampire and he turns into a vampire. Now he's trying to live with, the transition of becoming a vampire. But after that, it is definitely its own manga. I wouldn't really compare it to Tokyo Ghoul at all after that beginning. But what happens is that now he's kind of, once again, kind of similar to Tokyo Ghoul, actually. Kind of on the run from, the detectives or authorities or whatever that really just want to run experiments on him and just trying to figure life out. And it is really, really interesting. It was definitely surprising towards the end. Definitely probably not something I think everybody would be interested in, reading, but and I'm sure probably a lot of you have seen this page before, even if you've never heard of Happiness, because it is pretty iconic actually. But like I said, towards the end it does get kind of weird, and I don't think everybody would be, like I said, interested in seeing that all the way through. But if you have a stomach for it, I would definitely recommend Happiness. I really did enjoy this. I'd probably even go as far as to say it was like maybe my second favorite read for this reading log, and it's really good. I love Shuzo Oshimi, and I'd say I like Flowers of Evil way more than this though. But let's move on to the last physical manga I did read for the month. Okay, so the last manga I did read physically, I would definitely say is my favorite manga that I read, and it is one I've been meaning to read forever now, and that is My Summer Review Volumes 1 and 2. I didn't finish Volume 2 yet. I'm really kind of just started it, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, but Volume 1 was amazing. And I thought, like, at the end of Volume 1, I was like, what could possibly happen in Volume 2? And that's why I did start it up a little bit just to see what happens. But Volume 1 is amazing. It is kind of BL, but it's about our main character named Seiki, or nope, Wataru. Wataru is the main character, which is this black-haired one right here. And then there's Chiharu, which is the blonde one here. But basically, it's about these two characters, and they just love watching movies with each other. That's kind of just how they bonded. And they met at a movie kind of selling shop. And Chiharu, like I said, the blonde-haired one, he's very popular, very attractive. All the girls fall for him, you know. And what's his name? I forget his name all the time, but Wataru, like I said, the black-haired one, is a lot more normal, you know, a little bit of a, I don't want to say cooler, but very calm, doesn't get much attention, but he's perfectly fine with it. And basically what happens is, you know, they kind of get to know each other, they hang out, stuff like that, and come to find out that Chiharu is in love with Wataru. That's basically what it is. And from there, the story it's wicked, honestly. It is wild, it is fun, it's very interesting. There's definitely lots of different twists and turns along the way, lots of backstory that gets revealed to keep the characters interesting. And honestly, the two characters alone are very interesting. Now, a very minor problem I had when I first started reading this is kind of the way that the text bubbles are. It's a very minor thing, but like the text bubbles don't really point to a character, so at times it was kind of hard to know which character was speaking at which point. Maybe that's just me. If you've read it, definitely comment down, you know, if you had that same experience. But other than that, and once I got used to it, it is really, really good. And like I said, this was probably my favorite read of the month as far as physicals go. And the art is pretty standard, I would say. I wouldn't say it's anything too fantastic or anything, but still really, really enjoyable. Lastly, we will be getting into the digital manga. So I kind of want to just start out with Doron Doraron. It is one that I personally think might be getting canceled soon. I could be wrong, but kind of just a personal feeling. The pacing has been extremely fast for it lately, kind of like it's gonna wrap up pretty soon. But for what it is so far, I have been kind of enjoying it. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing, but it is, you know, it is what it is, really. Ruri Dragon, real quick, it is on hiatus. The last couple of chapters have been really good so far. I think maybe only one chapter came out this month, one or two, I think. But it was really good, really enjoyable. I do love Ruri Dragon every time it comes out. Another one, Aliens Area, I actually really enjoy, because at first I thought it would be like just a very straightforward kind of battle manga, but the recent chapters, like off the top of my head, the two most recent ones, it shows them encountering aliens that aren't exactly hostile. It's very interesting and really threw me off, honestly, but I do enjoy it a lot. Super Smartphone is one where recent chapters, like maybe like the 2 or 3 most recent ones, I wasn't really enjoying, because sometimes it feels like it's just throwing too much text at you, and it's not really the easiest to keep up with at times. But it is kind of enjoyable when it is really, really good. Next, Akane Banashi. I love Akane Banashi, especially the most recent chapter where Akane was performing Jugemu, and it was really good. I can't wait for next chapter. My Hero, really good as usual. JJK, really good as usual. But I did really want to talk about Black Clover. The Black Clover chapter that, you know, brought it back from hiatus was honestly amazing. I was reading it and it had me on the edge of my seat every single page. It wasn't exactly exciting. Just seeing Black Clover return was just so much fun, so exciting. As usual, I love Black Clover. The art is amazing. Especially just, I'm excited for what's gonna happen with the next chapter, and I was really excited to talk about it. But even more than Black Clover, I was really excited to talk about Chainsaw Man Part 2. Now, personally, the main character of Chainsaw Man Part 2, Asa, I believe her name was, with the War Devil, is honestly, in my opinion, a much better protagonist than Denji, or at least more interesting to me, because she's just very unique in the sense of kind of having a dual personality with the War Devil, and that dynamic of, you know, the more cowardly character and the War Devil. It's very interesting, especially the most recent chapter where the Bat Devil did return, and it's so exciting to see. And honestly, I really love it. Like I said, these, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 chapters. I honestly enjoy it a lot more than, say, like the first 4 or 5 chapters of Chainsaw Part 1. That's just me personally. Definitely comment down how you feel about Chainsaw Man Part 2 recently. I know I am very late to talk about it, but I am enjoying it so much lately. Now, another manga I did read, I didn't read it all the way through. I think it's about the first 4 volumes or so, is Akumetsu. I'll definitely put some pictures up on screen of it. It is very interesting. It's set in a time where Japan is having a very financial crisis, and there's our main character, Akumetsu, who's basically just a terrorist, and he goes around killing the corrupt politicians. That's basically how it starts out. It is very interesting, very comedic, and overall Akumetsu is just a really cool character. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I did kind of forget a lot of things that happened. The structure of it is very, you know, week by week or like chapter by chapter. So like each chapter kind of follows the same pattern, but it's just a different enemy each chapter. That's kind of just how it is. It's kind of repetitive in the beginning, but towards the chapters I got to, like I said, I got to like volume 4, it does really start to switch up, and it is still overall really fun to read. But lastly, and my favorite digital read, is One Punch Man. Now, One Punch Man is one that I've read physical for the most part, but after a while I saw how long it was taking for it to come out, you know, physically. I think volume 23 came out last year in like November, and volume 24 doesn't come out until like October this year. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go and read it, and I love it, honestly, especially the most recent chapter. I don't want to say too much. Actually, I'm gonna say it because I have been saving it for the end of the video for a reason. Spoilers definitely for One Punch Man, but the fight between Saitama and Garo was just over the top, and it was just amazing. Yusuke Murata's art was just, I loved every second of it. I'm definitely gonna put some pictures up of Murata's art because they're amazing. And reading it digitally on the Shonen Jump app, I don't know if it's like this anywhere else, but it does have color for some of the pages. And like I said, it is just amazing. And honestly, Yusuke Murata needs to be like banned from drawing. He's too good at this. I'm sorry, like there's no reason he should be able to draw this good, but I really love it. And the story has been so fun, so amazing, and it's ridiculous, but I love it nonetheless. The recent chapters of Tokyo Revengers have been pretty cool. Once again, definitely some more spoilers for that, but just the fight that's about to go down between Mikey and Takamichi is, but honestly, Mikey has just been going off. In the most recent chapter, I remember Mikey kind of had his urges or impulses, and he started fighting his own teammates. That's the most recent thing I remember, but it is really interesting. No, I'm sorry. The most recent thing was Mikey's backstory. I believe it was his backstory with Draken, I think. I forgot exactly what happened, but still really good, really fun to see. And at first, that chapter was kind of weird. It felt kind of out of place at first, but towards the end of the chapter, it made sense. And I'm really excited, not excited really, but interested in seeing the rest of the story play out. But that's really all from me. Definitely, once again, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss an upload, all that good stuff. Once again, check me out on Instagram at SimonSabroYT. Link will always be down in the description. And that's really it for the video. This is Simon Sabro signing out. I'll catch you on the next one.